I missed all of you. We will continue our lesson online. Take care about yourself and let's start. Today we're going to start our fourth lesson in our curriculum. We will talk about the importance of sunlight to living organisms. Sunlight plays an important role for all living organisms in this planet. For example, sunlight is a good source for vitamin D, which is very important for our bodies. At the same time, by the sunlight, plants make its own food by a process is called photosynthesis process. So, what is the meaning of photosynthesis process? Before starting with the definition of photosynthesis process, photosynthesis it sound like big word, right? So, first of all, I want to tell you what is the meaning of photosynthesis process. Photo is a Greek word for light, and synthesis is a Greek word for putting together. Now it is simple. Photosynthesis is using light to put things together. By this process, plants make its own food with the help of water and carbon dioxide and nutrients or mineral salts. Okay, before starting with how this process is happening, by these green parts, the plant absorbs two things: carbon dioxide and sunlight. By carbon dioxide and sunlight, the plant make photosynthesis process and will give us two things: starch and oxygen gas. So now the plant is breathing, right? It is taking carbon dioxide and giving us oxygen gas. So the definition of photosynthesis process, it is a biological process which takes place in the green parts of the plant to make its own food. Photosynthesis process takes place in green leaves where the plant cell contain chloroplast. These green circles, they are the chloroplast. By it, the plant absorbs the light. After that, the plant absorbs water from the soil by the roots. This white part is called the root. Number 3, the plants absorb carbon dioxide from the air by the plant leaves. By this plant leaf or by this green parts of the plant, it absorbs carbon dioxide. As a result, from photosynthesis process, the plants give us two things. Oxygen gas, it's released during photosynthesis process. Starch, it is the food of the plants, and the plant storing this food in the parts of the plant. During the photosynthesis process, the plant produces the food in a form of sugar or starch, and we can detect the presence of the starch by using iodine solution, where a dark blue color appears. Here in this photo, the man will add a solution which is brown a little bit. He will add it to starchy solution which is white. Here we can see that the solution will change into blue color. Now we have a song. Let's listen together. I hope you will enjoy it, and after finishing this song, we can move to our next part of our lesson, which is talking about the classification of living organisms.
If you want to know how a plant grows, it takes water, air and sunlight and makes cellulose. Every plant can do this fundamental process, and we can call this photosynthesis. Unlike me and you, plants need CO2, and they make oxygen that stops us turning blue. Every plant can do this fundamental process, and we can call this photosynthesis. It's a miracle how all the chlorophyll captures sunlight in the leaves of the plants and the trees. A plant of any size can do it if it tries, but we're not green so we can't photosynthesize. Every plant can do this fundamental process, and we can call this photosynthesis. It's a miracle how all the chlorophyll captures sunlight in the leaves of the plants and the trees. Every plant can do this fundamental process, and we can call this photosynthesis. Every plant can do this fundamental process, and we can call this photosynthesis. Photosynthesis.
Classification of living organisms according to their feeding ways. Firstly, producers. Secondly, consumers. Third, decomposers. Let's start from producers. Producers, they are autotrophic living organisms that can make their own food by photosynthesis process. For example, green plants, green algae, and some types of bacteria. Consumers, they are living organisms depending on producer to obtain their food, directly or indirectly way, which is mean they don't make their own food, they feed on other living organisms like plants or animals. And we can classify the consumers to two types, herbivorous and carnivorous. Herbivorous mean the animals or living organisms which is depend in the herbs or plants, like the rabbits, like human, like chicken, sheep. Carnivorous, the living organisms, they are feeding in meat, like the human eats meat, like a snake feeds on a mouse, like a lion feeds on a deer. The last living organisms today is talking about decomposers. They are living organisms that cannot make their own food by themselves, but they obtain their food by decomposing organic wastes as dead bodies, plant remains, and rotten food. For example, some types of bacteria and bread mold fungus. The importance of decomposers, they helping us to get rid of the organisms such as dead bodies and plant remains. They increase the soil fertility, and finally they are used in a lot of industries like sugar industries. Now we finished our lesson. I hope you got all the information in this lesson. If you didn't, if you have any question, we can contact together in WhatsApp. Bye bye.